Hey Amber, thank you so much for the question. Basically, you're new to the investing space, you don't know where to start, you don't know how much to start with, and you're looking for some answers. Well, let me walk you through a few things that I used to help consider when I was getting started off at the very beginning of throwing money outside of my normal budget and into the world of investing. First off, don't ever be afraid to go talk to an accountant or a licensed financial advisor. They can do what I'm about to talk about in a much more specific and cohesive way that should work with your specific lifestyle. I'm not a licensed advisor of any sort, so this is just a springboard of ideas that I hope helps you. The three pillars that I used in the very beginning, and I still use to this day, is what's my budget, meaning what's the amount of money that I can spend on investing for a period of time and not miss it, not to be used for next month's rent, not to be used for tonight's dinner, just free flowing cash. And if you don't have free flowing cash, either because your debt is piled up high or you just don't have the income coming in right now, that's fine, but you need to recognize that now's not the time to invest if that's the case. Ultimately, we all want to get started making money, but you got to first be in a position where you can set money aside to let that money make money. Otherwise, you're going to be doing yourself more harm than good. Besides the budget, you need to recognize a time frame, meaning I can afford $50, every week, every month, every year. Doesn't matter how ridiculous the number sounds. If you can afford it, recognize it, and set that as your budget. If you are unsure about that number, give yourself some leeway and make that 50 into a 30 or a 40. The last thing you want to do is misunderstand your own finances and leave yourself in a situation where you got to sell out for a loss in order to pay things in the now. Trust me, I've been there. It's not fun. This is a good way to consider your future emotions when the market turns crazy. And finally, the third pillar is knowledge. What are you knowledgeable about? What do you have an innate interest in? And if that thing is investable in any sort of way, figure out a way to invest in it, because you paying attention to that specific industry is going to do you so much good when it comes to investing. The good news is that third one is entirely optional. If you don't have anything that you specifically are excited about right now, but you want to get started investing right now, you can play it safe. That's kind of what I did. I knew I wanted to get into crypto, but I didn't know how to do it safely. Eventually, I learned that investing in the blue chips, meaning the bigger market cap ones, the most well-known ones, and oftentimes the ones that have been around the longest, were by far my safest bets when I wanted to put money in them and forget about them for a long period of time and still go back and expect some sort of price action that was favorable to me. The same can be said about stocks. When I got started, I was focusing on the blue chip stocks because there really wasn't an industry that jumped out at me at the time. Now I lean a little bit more to the tech sector because I think that's where the most futuristic growth actually happens to be and seems to be consolidating. But I didn't know that back then. So I was looking at stocks like Amazon, like Google, like Apple. And guess what? Even if I knew nothing about that space, it would have made me money over the last how many years. Both recognizing what you know and what you don't know are equally as important when it comes to investing. And if you don't know so many things about investing and want to get started, that's where diversification can really come in strong. Now that I know what I'm doing, or seemingly know what I'm doing, I have the confidence to actually narrow it down, and I'm less diversified than, let's say, owning 12 different stocks and 15 different cryptos and all these other things. Because if one investment leg got taken out, I had 16 more that were doing just fine. And over time, you get a feeling of what's performing and what's not. You duck out of some, you consolidate that into a winner, and history just kind of teaches you where your money should end up going. Anyways, sorry about the generalized information and the roundabout way of getting to it depends. But I really do hope that this little rant kind of helps you out and gives you some sort of direction on how you can get started, and you don't have to take the most riskiest position right off the bat if that's not what you're wanting to do. Stay tuned and more of my videos will come out, and hopefully we can connect the dots together. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.